couple recent books that I've released, I was hoping would be bigger hits, would be hits. I think that speaks more to the climate of science fiction, of there being so many. There's actually a lot of really good indie writers, self-published writers who are putting out good product, and they're just filling the market. A couple years ago, I had a huge hit in science fiction, but a couple years ago, the market wasn't as full of other writers, trying to all hit that formula and nail it and make it big. So that's a little disappointing right now. There's definitely basically my books that were published with Permuted Press are all kind of regrets. I had one, Intentional Haunting. It's a young adult horror novel. Yeah, it's a young adult horror novel that, it got nominated for a Bram Stoker Award, which is like the Oscars, or it's like the Nebulas or Hugos for science fiction and fantasy. The Bram Stoker Award is for horror, and it was nominated for best YA novel. And it was a personal novel. There was a lot of things I mined from my not so fun childhood that I put in there that added to the horror element. My publisher just kind of didn't take advantage of that. It's it's in horror, it's in that genre, and it gets nominated for the awards that define excellence in that genre. Whatever. Nothing there. Another young adult novel, Little Dead Man, which is zombie apocalypse. I still get emails from a lot of people who say they think it's one of my best novels. Absolutely love it. It was mishandled by the publisher completely in order to cram it out into the market. They got it in they were going with the science fiction buyers of bookstores, adult science fiction buyers. Like in Barnes & Noble, it was on the science fiction shelves, not in the young adult shelves, which is where it should have been, because they were going path of least resistance. The science fiction buyer was easier to talk to and deal with than the young adult buyer. I think that killed it instantly, because there were only 3 young adult zombie novels out there at that time. And this was 4 years ago. So, there's a lot more now, but at that time there weren't. And that was a mistake by the publisher, because I wrote it specifically for that market. I know zombies, and it was something I can write. It wasn't like I was like, oh, this is hot, I'll do that. It was a story I had and wanted to do, but it was written for a specific market. It was written for the young adult market, and they didn't put it in that market, so it died. And then I had another series, the Reign of 4 series, which I call medieval space fiction. It really is stripped down, basically Game of Thrones in space opera. Really stripped down. There's not ships flying all over the place. This is basic things. Basic technology, but it is, I think it's some of my best writing, and it's a 4-book series, and it would have had a huge appeal to more female readers, which is great, because you get in there, that's the key. And it wasn't marketed that way. It just died. They thought they could throw it against the wall and it would stick. So honestly, almost everything I wrote for Permuted Press are kind of regrets, because there's some quality writing and some great books that I wish I could have back and give to somebody else who would do something for it. But that's the business. That's just how it is. And being a prolific writer, that just means I have a higher percentage of regrets than other people, because I just have churned out a lot more books, and there are just some that they never hit, or they're completely mishandled. And but you have to chalk it up, and you have to move on. If you sit there in your little regret pool, you're never going to get anything done, and you're never going to do anything good again, because you'll just woe is me and Eeyore yourself to death until you're useless. So you got to keep going. That's just it. Yeah.